Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA. Today is our third and final shoot of the weekend with the Roadster Shop guys. We're with Josh. Josh is a partner in the company. If you guys don't know Road Rage Camaro, we're about to blow your mind because this is truly one of the most exceptional custom builds I've ever seen in my life, man. Can we pop the hood?
Absolutely.
And I mean, my God, come on.
It's definitely got the look. I mean, but it's form and function together, you know. Texas Speed built this badass LS7 454. It's got a Kinsler ITB setup, individual throttle body that's actually drive-by-wire. So you got drive-by-wire modules on both sides to run each bank. It's a badass rowdy beast, you know?
Yeah.
It's tame and streetable, torque's there and the noise is there, and it's just it's a weird experience to have that type of power V8 sound, but you feel like you're driving some type of European sports car. So,
wow. What is the power on this?
This one's right over 700.
That's such a perfect zone to be in.
In-house designer Chris Gray designed that intake setup. We machined it in-house and did all of the anodizing and had that outsourced. I mean, obviously, this is kind of a love it or hate it car, right? So from the get-go,
totally agree.
This is not a new concept to take American muscle cars and draw from inspiration from European or Italian sports cars, modern sports cars or vintage sports cars. It makes even more sense if you think about the history of the 70 Camaro that was basically designed off of the mid-60s Ferraris, right? So even way back in the late 60s when General Motors designers were designing this car, they were drawing inspiration from European, more specifically Italian sports cars.
Yeah.
In modern day, why not take that same concept with the car that was already designed off of a Ferrari and take some of those Italian GT, Gran Turismo, grand touring cars, you know? It's the beauty of form and function coexisting together. So yeah, it's got flares on it, but the flares are for a purpose, but the flares can also look good because the flares need to be there. Same thing under the hood. We've got cantilever front suspension, you've got the individual throttle bodies, drive-by-wire, you've got the badass intake. So it has to be there, but it could also look good.
Yeah.
So doing those things together was really the whole purpose of this car.
I'm always function over form, but boy, when you can get function and form to come together, like this intake, how it comes through the hood, it's as over the top as it gets, and yet somehow there's a subtlety and an elegance to it.
It is, yeah.
You know?
It's because it doesn't stick up so much, and a lot of those are, I mean, credit Chris Gray and Jeremy Gerber. I mean, just the little flip of the flare on the hood to come up to those intakes allows you to see them poking through, but it seems flowing. You could just run stacks through the hood, you know, and that would be fine for a race car, and there's nothing wrong with that. Right.
I mean, just something as simple as just the intake. Right. There's so much thought and design that it's obvious, dude. That doesn't happen on accident.
It was a huge undertaking, but a great exercise in overthinking the details of blending that form and function. You were never going to sacrifice on the function.
Right.
But you were going to really never sacrifice on the form to make that function blend seamlessly.
Okay, so what does this mate to transmission, rear end?
T56 Magnum, it's our independent rear suspension, but it's a 9-inch center section, true track posi, all the good stuff.
Yeah, and obviously it all sits on your
full fast track Roadster Shop chassis. This one's a little bit custom. It does utilize pretty much your off-the-shelf fast track front suspension geometry and rear. However, we've got extended control arms really to widen that track width. And with that, we did the cantilever front suspension, which basically runs a push rod, and then you can mount the outboard coilovers there. So looks, but also gain in function with the motion ratio and also accessing for tuning and stuff like that. This is a carryover from the original car, Rampage, that was the full-blown race car. That was function over function over function.
Yes, two of my favorite second-gen Camaros of all time, hands down, like zero questions asked. I saw Rampage first, and it was a freak show.
Yep.
Then this comes out, because Rampage, don't get me wrong, cool. I wouldn't call it elegant or pretty or beautiful or anything. That was full race car stuff, man. Following you over here this morning and the idea that this car drives down the damn road. Like, this should be a piece of art hanging on the wall, but okay, we'll stay with the mechanicals, right? It's not just the offset of the wheels. You have actually widened the track.
Yeah, that's 2 inches wider each side, so you have longer control arms, right? So you get a little bit of change in motion ratio, camber gain, and stuff like that. It's basically like you're running a way longer shock than you actually are because of engineering and geometry.
Yeah. No, but
not to go too far in the weeds.
No, but thank you for simplifying for me, because, you know, I've told you I'm not mechanical, so I get it. It is like actually having a longer shock.
Right.
Oh my God.
And then the same thing is in the rear with the IRS. Again, standard fast track geometry, tweaked a little bit for the cantilever. So we've got cantilever rear shocks that are actually in cabin. Again, form and function together.
Yeah.
Besides the extended track and the cantilever for front and rear suspension, it's basically our standard off-the-shelf fast track geometry, just tweaked a little bit.
Yeah, headers to exhaust, back. I don't know what the hell's going on, but the sound of this car.
There's a little secret sauce in there for the sound.
It's almost Ferrari-esque, but mixed with muscle car.
We built the headers. They're long tube, either I think 1 7/8" or 2" primaries. Some X piping and a custom muffler and mostly straight pipes. With exhaust, you don't know what it's going to be like until you crank it. You can do the standards of like, well, we know we're going to do X pipe over an H, and we know if we can do these longer chambers here and stuff like that. Here in this one for the first time when you did crank it, it was definitely like a, oh yeah, we got lucky on that one. Yeah. So it really does sound amazing.
Oh, you guys are always bare on brakes, aren't you?
Always Bear on brakes, absolutely. We do some Brembo stuff as well, but Bear's a great company. We've been with Bear for a long time.
Yeah.
They make an amazing product. They've always stepped up to the plate when it's one of those custom things or last minute or hey, let's tweak this a little bit or whatever. And so they're a really, really great partner to work with. Casey Wegner's also a great buddy of ours. He did the valve covers for it, so that's Wegner valve covers.
Oh, bitch.
Texas Speed motor. We machined the Valley pan. It's got some custom Roadster Shop badging there. We try to make sure we don't miss an opportunity to leave a mark for RS, but we also try to make sure that it's subtle and it's not in your face, right? So
every one of yours so far that I've seen is like, it shows
Easter
up,
eggs,
and
Easter eggs.
It should show up. I just think if I was personally spending that kind of money, I wouldn't mind the branding the way you guys do it.
Right.
I don't mind subtlety. Amazing. Is it manual brakes?
Manual brakes get a bad name.
I agree.
It's generally because they're not set up properly. When you've got the room and it's more of a street car and you've got a customer that does want that on-off switch where they just want to touch with their pinky toe and it stops the car, that's where power brakes come into play. With a car like this, that's a more analog feel and you want a lot more driver input and car feedback. The manual brakes set up properly, you've got such a better opportunity for some modulation and a progressive braking versus the on-off.
I think manual gets a bad rap because people have probably driven manual brake cars that weren't properly set up.
If bore size is correct and pedal ratio is right, 95% of the time, you can get them exactly where you need it to be.
All right, wheels, tires, radical, but like tell me about the sizes, who made them?
Forge line, they're 18-inch front, 19-inch rear, 1912s in the rear, and 1810s in the front. Running 315, 30, 18s in the front, 345s in the rear. 315s in the front, 345s.
Do you guys hear that? 315s up front. So your steering rack's got to be able to deal with a lot of.
It's a Woodward racing rack. That's an option on all of our fast track chassis. It handles that. You can go wider, and a lot of people have gone wider on the front. You've seen, square setups out there, 335s all the way around.
I saw one in your shop that's being built right now that's 335 square.
Yeah, it's big. Yeah.
I think we've handled a lot of the mechanical stuff. There might be more. Let's jump into the insanity of the mods on this car. Let's come back up to the front, dude. The splitter on this thing, bro.
Splitter's pretty wild. This is kind of the refinement of the predecessor of this car, Rampage, we've talked about before. So this is the street, more refined version. So off of that kit that we developed and it had all the molds and stuff like that, we basically did the same thing. But we changed up some of the front splitter, refined some edges. So that's all carbon fiber. Actually, all of the side skirts and fenders are all carbon fiber as well, but all that's painted. We don't want to go overboard and show everything in carbon. It's still got
I love that you guys left it out.
Yeah.
I didn't know if those were fiberglass or if they're, I can tell they're not metal.
Yeah,
but
they're
like,
carbon.
That's friggin' artistic restraint, dude.
I appreciate it.
Finest.
It's a material. Carbon fiber is a path to get somewhere, right? It doesn't always have to be shown. There's times that it can be.
That is mind-numbing to me.
I appreciate it.
Massive credit to your designer and to the whole team before wrenches get turned, before body starts getting cut up. I know this car's designed before it comes down to...
Chris and Jeremy spent some serious hours and long nights on really crafting the vision. Before the car was stripped down, there was kind of the blueprint, right?
Sure.
A lot of times we start with, we call them guardrails, right? We know a direction, but you can bounce off those guardrails as you're going that direction, right? This one,
here's
from the
what
start,
we're building.
This is what, exactly.
Yeah, fenders, quarters, obviously it's all cut to create an opening, and then add the flair.
Yeah, besides the bodywork, I mean, on fit and finish and a little bit on the front valance, the fender itself, the door itself, and the quarter itself, all that's stock. It's pretty much untouched. We had to obviously cut them open, right? And you're gonna do some, edging and stuff like that. But there's nothing really modified to the shape of the fenders, doors, or quarters. Or even the roof for that matter, besides flush fitting the glass and stuff.
Second gen Camaro, 70 to 72, perfect muscle car. It looks like a race car straight from the factory. Yeah. Drop it and give it some wheels and it's a beast of a car already. Right. How wide did you go on the flares?
Actual inches wise?
Don't remember.
I don't remember.
Been a minute.
Whatever it took to look right.
We went wide.
We went wide, yeah.
This would have been easy to bring the flare down to somewhere around here, nip it, cut it, bend it, do whatever, and call it a day. But how you guys brought it down to mold into the splitter. I know there's people that hate that you flared the car like this. Step back and look at the taste that was taken in it with, it looks like this is all one piece here, how it flows like that.
I personally love it. I know that everybody that had a hand in it really likes it. I think it accentuates the shape of the car while allowing that wider track. Again, form and function coexisting together. I get that it's a wild ass, crazy looking car. It's super wide and stuff like that. But if you can flow shapes into shapes, then your eye, like you said, can run through over that fender and it's more pleasing to the eye.
That's art for me, right? You love it or you hate it. It causes a response. It elicits an emotional reaction to it, And as you can tell what my emotional reaction to this friggin' car is. Is this from Corvette?
That is a Corvette pressure pad is in there, yeah. That is a little bit more modern touch with the pressure pad. It also works better than your factory door handle, but there's no point in having that factory door handle on this car.
It's perfect on this car, dude. There's this move right now where I'm seeing a lot more cars that are retaining stock looking door handles, stock looking mirrors. It might be a billet better component. It would look weird to have door handles on this car, bro. And I think it would look weird to have it totally shaved and looking like cars from 20 years ago.
Exactly.
So the other one that stands out radically is when we come back here, this is all still the Camaro, right?
The outside shape is basically Camaro, and then from there back, we've kind of squared it off to give it a little bit more of that modern look, and then sunk that tail panel in. I'd say that it was, party in the back, but it's party in the front and party in the back, so I don't know.
Oh, dude, this car is just a party all the way.
It's just full long hair.
This is all, yeah. The line of the flare mimics the line of the body here. It's like a satisfying putting the puzzle together, and it fits inside so perfectly.
Then you get those proportions of basically a larger size 70 Camaro on the outside. So everybody's eyes trained what a 70 Camaro looks like. So you kind of stay in those shapes. It's a little bit more visually appealing because you're closer to what it was.
The choice of bringing the 3 tips, that is so friggin' Ferrari right there, man.
Yeah, exactly. They're quite dirty right now, but it's a Cerakoted white exhaust.
So is it really?
The tips are white, but then they've got a little bit of the gold anodized flare on the edge of it. So back in show car form, when it was all clean and detailed, you could see that.
Yeah.
Go on the website and check it out. Right now, she's a driver now.
And I love seeing shit like that, dude. I also like seeing, I don't know if you guys wiped it down. So there's like pepper all over here, man. Like, I dig that the owner drives the damn car.
That's what it's built to do. It's such a disservice for it to just sit there.
Yeah.
Right.
Is this all carbon as well? And same part of the...
This is all aluminum.
So you guys choose to do that in metal. And then, not just that there's the louvers, which is kind of rad. It's very much a throwback to that time period of muscle cars. I mean, I had a Mustang that had louvers on the back window.
Trans Am of that era.
I mean, the fitment of this couldn't be more friggin' perfect, dude.
Yeah, that one was actually quite a big challenge. That was all aluminum. That was all built from scratch, that whole louver setup. And then coach gap to the vehicle. All the way through metal, all the way through bodywork. And then obviously, if any car builders are out there knowing, they know that it doesn't matter how good you do it in metal and how good you do it in bodywork. As soon as you paint it and you go to final assembly, everything likes to...
It moves and changes on you,
They don't like to live together anymore. And so it's that one's a challenge, but man, the guys in the assembly shop, John York, specifically on this car, they nailed it.
All right, interior, dude. Let's go blow my mind a bit more.
Good friend, Jeremy Carlson, avant-garde.
Of course, this is another avant-garde, yes.
He's a mad scientist, evil genius down there that just whips up some crazy stuff. He's got a great team, but Jeremy specifically is just he's got a special gift, for sure.
I'll say.
And color choices obviously kind of fit with that European, I hate to say it sound like a broken record, but there's just some of that inspiration, and it's a driver's car, you don't have a lot of bells, whistles, frills, and stuff like that. There is the, full screen Alpine. You do have air conditioning, you do have have navigation, you do have Bluetooth, you have the stuff on your phone. Well, let's face it, once you hear this thing, like,
you ain't turning any of that crap on, dude.
Yeah, you've got the gauges, the shifter, and you.
You're caged all the way through.
Caged all the way through.
Giving it this, I mean, this is something I'm noticing, the theme with you guys is there's cages, there's harnesses. You're setting cars up to not experience something like I did and other people have experienced, which is to not have the safety equipment required to enjoy the ride, and God forbid something happens.
I'd love to say that that's a mentality or ethos we've always had, but it's not. As we've gotten older and more mature, horsepower has gotten way crazier than it ever was. We're tripling the horsepower of what we were doing 15 years ago, right? As you grow up, you start getting a little more mature and you're like, you know what? Seat belts and harnesses and a cage and all of this other safety stuff is probably a good thing, you know?
It is. And I still get in cars that have no belts, lap belts. I'm cool with it. I understand it. Build what you want to build. Anyways, all the metal work is you guys, right?
Right.
I mean, this thing couldn't fit more perfectly.
I mean, it's already a full unibody car again anyway, so the chassis is all welded back into the body. So you've got a lot of that added structure there. You've got down bars, firewalls all been reinforced and stuff. You could have done an overhead bar and a hoop and a halo and stuff like that or whatever, but with as wide as this car is and still being a street car, knock on wood, you shouldn't have to worry about a rollover. An interior of this level does create some challenges because I don't know how much interior work you've ever done.
None?
It's already difficult to do interior, crawling around on the inside of a car. But when you've got a cage, I mean, look back around in there and imagine having to be the guy back there making the panels, covering the panels, installing the panels.
I gotta guess a lot of the panels are knowing avant-garde magnetic stuff, right? So it makes for easy removal and clean replacement. And
everybody that's watched any videos on anything that avant-garde's done has heard it 100 times, but I'll say it again. It's absolutely amazing that you could pretty much disassemble and have the entire interior out of this car in probably 25 to 30 minutes.
Unbelievable. Whoever came up with the concept of doing the blue with the crazy gold everywhere, but not everywhere, but you know what I mean? It's still subtle, but it's like the blue and gold's enough. Then you go with this color interior. Some risky choices, man. Personally, again, I love it, dude, but it would have been a lot easier to go black, some brushed aluminum, right? And call it a day, be safe about it.
It'd been safe. That wouldn't have been the right choice when we weren't being safe anywhere else. You know, if you're kind of flexing everywhere, flex subtly, but you're subtly flexing, it makes you know that this car is a little bit special. Because somebody took the time to go a little outside the box.
Everything on this car, as radical as it is, it's all tastefully done. I mean, even like drip rails completely gone. The lines on this, I know you guys are sharpening the hell out of the lines on this car. It's not just body working and call it a day. There's a lot of peeking going on.
Yep, and that's just, you know, what sets the bodywork apart. You know?
Man.
Knife edge and stuff. And
every thought, like, okay, we're not gonna have an armrest because an armrest would seem a little odd in here, to be honest with you. How do I shut the damn door? Otherwise, I'm fingerprinting the hell out of the door, right?
Put a loop.
How when you shut the door, the cage collapses into the door so it's not intruding on any of it.
Just like what we talked about with basically the entire car was designed before we started working on it, the interior was the same way. So you can really play off those angles, and that's how you can get that type of level fit and finish because of CAD and the scanning, knowing how deep you can inset that, right? Knowing where that roll cage is gonna sit, knowing all that stuff. Hats off to the guys that used to do it way before that, because it was trial and error, fit and finish, fit and finish, fit and finish, and they nailed it, right? It's not that this is probably any better than the best trimmers 15 years ago.
Sure.
But the time and the cost for it, and just trying to be more respectful of the customer's money.
Yeah, I'm assuming one-off steering wheel?
One-off steering wheel.
You make the wheel and then your interior guy does the wrapping of it?
Correct.
And same with, I'm guessing, where the gauges sit?
Dakota Digital, another great long-term partner, great friends. They did the custom gauges for us. Avant-Garde did all the pods and the dash. They built this entire dash. Everything you see interior-wise was all built by Avant-Garde.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did an amazing job. Console-wise as well. Yeah, the Dakota Digital air conditioning controls, which we use Vintage Air. Got some great vents, and again, that's the one creature comfort that you do use.
Bro, you kidding me on a hot day, man? Windows up, AC blasting, I'm good.
There was a time when I would have said, oh, you don't need any air conditioning, roll the windows down.
Yeah, why add
We're getting older,
more mechanical stuff?
Right.
Yeah, no. The pedals look beautiful on this.
Yep, that's our RS Edition pedal assembly. It's all full bellet arms. That's got adjustable pedal ratio on the clutch and the brake, as well as the drive-by-wire throttle body that's in there.
Well, dude, I know there's more to talk about, but let's camera this thing up. Let's go drive it. I know it's loud, but I think we can still talk in this car.
I think we should be able to. Surreal moment?
Yeah. If you guys can't tell, I'm definitely tripping right now. Like, never thought the day would come where I'd be sitting right here or there and going to cruise. I like where the clutch drops.
Yeah.
Oh, Trip, you hear
that's a little weird, but it's also kind of adds to the...
Yeah, I was wondering if we were going to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I cannot believe this right now. If all I got to do was this, I'd be like, I'm like the coolest thing ever, man. Oh man, the sounds this thing makes. Oh, come on, that's not fair. I tell you, man, I said it earlier, bro, like, exotic cars, sports car, name the car. They do what they do. They don't do this.
No.
They cannot do this. Boy, it feels really good on the road. I gotta admit, I thought it was gonna be like more...
No, it's pretty tame.
How often do you just rev it slightly just to hear the diesel pops?
About every time.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeremy, Phil, and what's the owner of the car? Or maybe you don't want to say his name, but thank you to the owner of the vehicle for allowing
Vince.
this.
Yeah, Vince is an awesome fucking dude.
I mean, I just cannot believe how this came together. Well, you can tell even a mild, teeny little turn like that, it was like, oh, this is a sports car, come on. You've been a part of some pretty significant builds, this being one. So was Rampage before you were there? Or?
Rampage was finished up before. It's cool being on the other side, because I remember when that car was debuted, being like, holy shit, that's the baddest fucking thing I've ever seen. So I completely get where you're coming from, because I was on the other side, so it's weird.
It's kind of refreshing to see two brothers and you, a friend and co-pilot, right? Not only work together, but like last night we all went out and hung out. And
yeah.
I'm sorry, but me and my guys aren't that important of guys. If you didn't want to hang out with each other, you guys wouldn't go hang out, you know?
We had a great fucking time, and I think that's the key. Again, like you said, that it takes a team. You got to trust that they're going to perform at a high level, and they want the same things that you want, and we all want the same things. We all want to build the best. We all want to do it at an extremely high level, and we want to be better tomorrow than we were today. It's a great team, and happy to be a part of it, for sure.
Oh, man. I can't even believe this right now, dude. This is just wild. I mean, I get to do this.
That's gotta sound like no other.
I mean, those sounds are... Dude, this car just feels wonderful on the road, though. Like, I get why the owner actually drives it. It's a super friggin' drivable car, you know? Well, you gotta know how tempting it is for me to just like...
Do it.
I'll let you do that shit, dude. I'm tripping hard that I'm driving this car right now, so it's just... Do you know what I mean? The enjoyment factor of just simply getting to sit here and drive it and do like that.
It's so comfortable and car-like, but at the same time, it's like you feel like you're about to get caught driving something on the road that you're not supposed to.
Totally, like this shouldn't be legal.
Right.
It's too much fun. It shouldn't be allowed. There's something about NA to me that's...
Yeah.
Is it that it's like more responsive? Is that what it is?
It's the torque with that sound. That sound makes you think a little bit more powerful for some reason. I think it's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. On this car, because I just hit $5,000, like I'm being very mild.
I think it'll go to 72 or 73.
I was telling you last night, you guys, I hope you guys can appreciate this, that I come out here expecting a lot because you guys are the Roadster Shop. You guys have delivered on every level, and most importantly, not having met you, Jeremy, or Phil before, now here we are hanging out last night, having a few drinks and watching some country music together, you know, like... driving car. And the funny thing is, I know for a fact we could roll up the windows, get the AC going. Yep. Oh man, the pedals, the setup of these, dude, the ergonomics. You guys put some time into that.
That's just shit tons of years of being in cars that weren't set up that way, or even doing it wrong back in the day, and then realizing it just takes time to. And then again, every single one, even when this one was built, you're sitting in it, and you're like, man, next one we could do this better. Next one we could do this better. And then actually doing it better. It's very easy to hear people tell you that you're really doing a good job and then just continue to do that and not try to actually do better. Because people that are telling you you're doing a good job, I mean, that's great. It's nice to hear and stuff like that.
It is, but that doesn't mean you now get complacent and slow up and quit pushing the envelope. And I mean, you guys are. Look what you guys were building probably just 10 years ago, where there's probably different technologies that you've employed now, from 3D to CAD to SolidWorks, all the different stuff that, you know, I mean, like, of course you're going to keep growing. Man, if I was the owner, I'd have a hard time not driving this all the time. Sounds like he does get out and enjoy it a bunch.
You want the customer that has the same passion that we have for pushing that envelope on complete usability, drivability, and looking badass.
Absolutely, man. Is this the owner that gives you free reign, or does he have any amount of, I want this or that?
Yeah, this is one of those great customers, which we're blessed to have several of, that are like, I just want you to go full Roadster Shop on it.
Like, not even a color or anything, just like, I trust you guys.
Once we start formulating a plan, and Jeremy and Chris work together, and, you know, and bounce, me and Phil get into that mix and bounce some ideas.
Yeah.
Then you'll send some, you know, ideas and direction, and like, well, this color or this color. But for the most part, man, they're always trusting and say, yep, that's fucking amazing. I would have never thought of it, but now that I see it, that works.
Yeah, because this one, I don't think a lot of people would have thought of what you guys did here. Dude, thank you, man. Thank all you guys for
Thank y'all for coming out. This has been a
drive
blast.
This thing, man. God. Oh my God, the sounds, I just still can't. Hard to put words to it when you're kind of mind blown. It's another one where you can go full lock to lock, no problem.
Yep. It's a bit of a thrill ride.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Holy shit, dude. And by the way, you guys, it sounds like we're done. We're not. Josh is gonna jump in the driver's seat and just do some mild just so you can hear the car pull. So we're not done yet. All right, you guys, we're gonna do a couple of quick pulls. We are both a little more tired than we were a little while ago. I'm glad you're paying attention. Don't look over here. I'm like a fucking 5-year-old right now. Like, holy shit, I might go for a ride in this car. I wish I could explain to you guys how great it feels being in this car. Besides my little kid exuberation, is how it actually feels on the road, you know, how solid and planted it feels. And now, of course, he pulls out. He was waiting to see you go, wasn't he?
He was.
Yep. This car's got to get so much of that, dude. Like,
it does.
Even if you've seen a lot of rad cars, you haven't seen this. Man, gotta say, dude, out of 3 cars of your guys's that I've been in this weekend, all very different builds, right?
Yep.
Different power levels, even different types of boost happening. I mean, like, let's be honest, it's all over the map. Every one of them, no matter how much you're getting down, you might get a little wiggle, but it's not. I know you've been in those cars, bro, where you're throwing hard to the right, where even all the countering in the world, the best you're gonna do is just bring it all the way around now, you know?
And then the worst ones are the ones that do it different each time.
Every time.
Yeah, then you can never learn anything.
So you can't even get ready for what, you know, pre-counter. You're good, brother. You're so good. So you guys, I hope that gave you, if you didn't know a bunch about the Roadster Shop, that it gave you a more comprehensive view of what these guys do. That's 3 videos with them. Just honestly, dude, I know I said it off camera a bunch, but to you, Jeremy and Phil and the whole crew that accommodated so much for us this weekend to capture some great content. Thank you guys.
I really appreciate it, man. Your entire crew, super professional. Great fun. Had a lot of fun this whole entire weekend. Great fun last night.
Yeah.
It was great meeting you. I think we've got a connection, and it's gonna be fun to see what comes down the line.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same. More to come for sure. All right, you guys, man, we're gonna say goodbye, and thanks for hanging and watching what we do. I genuinely appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. All right, man. Later.